Chapter 425, Loss at Both Sides. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Zhang Yuochen stared at the bone stave in Master Shenhai's hand. With a tone of doubt, he asked, "Is this a half-saint staff too? How can there be two half-saint staffs in the Evil Wood Palace?" The stave had collided hard with the holy sword, but it was not damaged. This meant that the power contained in the stave was comparable with that of the half-saint stave. The Patriarch of the Evil Wooden Palace originally left two half-saint staves. One of them was personally carved by the Patriarch with purple cloud-patterned wood, and it was injected with saint power. It was also carved with elaborate and complicated inscriptions. The other was refined from the Patriarch's backbone. Afterward, it was developed by several Evil Wood Palace masters, so its power is stronger than the first one. Of course, it is the one in my hand. Master Shenhai held the bone stave in his hands. Suddenly, the smile in his eyes disappeared and they grew cold. He took a step forward without warning and attacked Zhang Yuochen again. Master Shenhai practiced supernatural power. He had also practiced skin refining to gold at the second change of the Fish Dragon realm. He even had a treasure body of wood. He was extremely powerful. He also had a half-saint stave. Naturally, he was not afraid to fight with Zhang Yuochen. Whoosh! He only swung the half-saint stave a bit, yet the surrounding spiritual chi of heaven and earth was stirred up like a hurricane. Huge rocks were strewn up. Zhang Yuochen immediately displayed a body movement and raced to the top of the mountain. He planned to lead Master Shenhai to the holy array in the corner. "Are you trying to run away?" Master Shenhai sneered. With a murderous look, he chased after him without thinking. It had to be said that Master Shenhai was indeed much faster than Zhang Yuochen. In an instant, he arrived behind Zhang Yuochen. He jumped up and got closer to him. He waved the half-saint stave. Zhang Yuochen did not have to look back. He already felt the destruction power behind him. When Master Shenhai saw that Zhang Yuochen did not stop to resist his attack, he smiled in his heart. He assumed he could strike Zhang Yuochen dead with the half-saint stave and quickly end the battle. Boom! The ground shook. The monster ape charged out from the ground and punched Master Shenhai in the chest. Zhang Yuochen and the monster ape had used this trick before to kill Master Xuexin. It had worked with Master Xuexin. Master Shenhai was startled. However, he responded very quickly. He immediately changed the direction of the half-saint stave and pressed down. All its force was directed at the monster ape. Bang! The half-saint stave collided with the monster ape's fist. It was forced to back off more than a dozen steps. It even broke 3 fingers. Master Shenhai had a deeper cultivation than the monster ape. In addition, he had a half-saint stave. Naturally it was easy to thwart it off. Ha ha! Zhang Yuochen, this beast is your trump card. How ridiculous you are to plot against me. I have used the sneak attack for over 100 years. You are too innocent. Master Shenhai was fierce, and he was also very shrewd. He had miscalculated Zhang Yuochen once. He would not let this happen a second time. Oh woo! The monster ape roared furiously. It charged forward and attacked again. Its body emitted a black magic light that was full of destructive power. "You're courting death." Master Shenhai's eyes were cold and sharp. He injected all his supernatural power into the half-saint stave. On the surface of the stave, a white illusory image emerged. It was 33 meters long and very thick. He waved the stave at the monster ape and hit its chest. This time, the monster ape was forced back 333 meters. Its huge body crushed a large section of ancient trees with a thud. Zhang Yuochen raced forward. He looked back, and his pupils shrank. This old guy is really horrible. He will probably reach the third change in the Fish Dragon realm soon. Breathing heavily, Zhang Yuochen finally reached the center of the holy array. Master Shenhai followed him and chased after him. "You want to deal with me with a holy array? My understanding of holy arrays is 10 times better than yours." When I reached the dark-splitting mountain, I already found that the holy array was not completely destroyed. Master Shenhai spoke harshly. Master Shenhai saw through Zhang Yuochen and split down the half-saint stave. A powerful supernatural power surged above the stave and turned into a torrent of supernatural power. It acted like a stream about to crush the dark-splitting mountain. Zhang Yuochen knew that he could not resist this strike. He immediately mobilized the power of space, displayed space moving, and disappeared. Boom! Master Shinhai's stave struck against the array and made a loud noise. The holy array was completely destroyed. The ground for 33 meters was also torn apart. Zhang Yuochen displayed space moving and appeared behind Master Shinhai without warning. He held the sword in both hands. He straightened it and held it like a meteor. Then he stabbed at Master Shinhai's chest. CHH. The holy sword broke through Master Shinhai's defense and pierced into his flesh. Blood gushed from his body like water from a pipe. The sword tip penetrated deeper into his body inch by inch. Master Shinhai bit his teeth together and clenched his hands tightly. His abdomen showed a radiant glow. The next moment, a strong power of wood nature emerged from his body. It struck against the holy sword and repelled Zhang Yuochen. They both stepped back at the same time. What is that power? Zhang Yuochen braced his body with the sword. He felt like his bones were shaking, his arms and legs were weak, and he could not exert an ounce of strength. If not for the dragon pearl, hundreds of his bones might have been crushed into powder. Master Shinhai was also uncomfortable. His back had a deep gash from the holy sword. A force of sword breath carrying saint power moved through his body, destroying his blood meridian, bones, and the 5 internal organs. He could only use supernatural power to suppress it. I shouldn't really fight at close quarters with Zhang Yuochen. It's too easy for him to defeat me. What kind of movement did he just use that he can appear behind me without warning? The two men faced each other. Neither one attacked. Zhang Yuochen stared at Master Shinhai. What kind of power did you just use? With your cultivation, you can't have such a strong supernatural power. Master Shinhai did not answer and asked, what body movement did you just use? Zhang Yuochen did not answer either. He smiled. He took a healing pill and started to run his genuine chi to cure wound. Master Shinhai did not launch an attack. He mobilized supernatural power and tried to dissolve the sword breath from his body. Zhang Yuochen displayed sky eye and watched as Master Shinhai ran supernatural power. He saw a mass of blue brilliance suspending around Master Shinhai's abdomen. The strong power of wood nature had erupted from the same mass of blue brilliance. What is that? As he pondered, his chi pool suddenly sent a violent fluctuation. A picture suspended in the center of his chi pool and emitted circles of light waves. It was the yin-yang wooden graph. The scroll gradually opened, displaying a magnificent world. In the scroll, the sacred prime tree began to breathe like a cultivator, as if it was alive. The power of wood nature entered Zhang Yuochen's body and was instantly absorbed by the sacred prime tree. How could this be? Does that massive blue brilliance inside Master Shinhai have some relation to the sacred prime tree? Why else would the yin-yang wooden graph show such a strange change? Zhang Yuochen knew that the yin-yang wooden graph was a treasure of time and space. It could take in the martial soul of warriors and savage beasts. However, living creatures were exempt, except Blackie. Blackie had been sealed inside the yin-yang wooden graph for 100,000 years. Seeing changes in the yin-yang wooden graph, Zhang Yuochen was immediately delighted. The internal space of the time and space spinel was becoming smaller and smaller. Zhang Yuochen's estimated, it would support him for 1 more year, then it would exhaust all its energy and disappear. With the time and space spinel, Zhang Yuochen had 3 times more time than he had in the outside world. It was because of this that Zhang Yuochen had been able to catch up with other top geniuses and even Kai Yao. Once the time and space spinel disappeared, Zhang Yuochen would have to search for a new treasure of time and space. Originally, Zhang Yuochen had wanted to get the Holy Wheel Seal. Unfortunately, the masters in the chaotic Millionverse Mountain had been too difficult to deal with. Based on his current strength, he could not obtain the Holy Wheel Seal. If he could open the world space of the yin-yang wooden graph, it would definitely be beneficial. It would be enough to replace the time and space spinel. The yin-yang wooden graph was definitely more precious than the time and space spinel, and it would help Zhang Yuochen's practice more. Anyway, I have to get the treasure inside Master Shinhai. Zhang Yuochen sat down on the ground. Numerous thoughts flashed through his mind. He ignored his injuries, mobilized his spiritual power, and called for a thunderbolt as thick as a bowl to attack Master Shinhai. I have to kill him while he is hurt. At the same time, The monster ape charged forward again and attacked Master Shanghai. The monster ape was very strong. Although it had been severely hurt by Master Shanghai, it was still quite fierce and tough. It forced Master Shanghai to fight back without a chance to escape. Abhorrent. What is Zhang Yuoquan's background? Not only can he mobilize the power of fire, he can also mobilize the power of thunderbolt. Master Shanghai suppressed his injury and fought back. In a sense, masters of spiritual power in Kunlun's field were somewhat similar to those in the Five Elements primitive world. Of course, there were also many differences. All 3,000 great ways led to the same destination. Whoosh! Zhang Yuoquan used spiritual power to control the heaven and earth spiritual chi. He transformed it into the power of a thunderbolt that turned into a beam of lightning and struck Master Shanghai.